Alright, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of these coins then. So just a quick get started. I'm not your financial advisor, it's not financial advice. I'm just going to have a look at what these charts are going to say and what I expect them to do. So we're looking at Bitcoin first, just to get a taste of what the day might hold. If we look at the chart, just standing back from the chart, it does look still quite bearish. This was a very big green candlestick we had a couple of days ago, but since then we've been dotting around in this area. Now the moving averages started to level off, generally speaking, but they're still downwards facing on the daily, that would be, and the 7 days it looks as though it actually is going to cross beneath 50, which would be not a death cross, but it's not a good sign. My expectation then, given the fact that it's the weekend, and often we find bullish momentum over the weekend, but we do have a kind of relatively low, I wouldn't say low, but decreasing volume. We might not see that kind of a move, but if we did, we could quite easily see ourselves getting back up to 11,000. If that area breaks, which is where our moving averages are, we'll probably find our way back up to 11,200. And now that level is a relatively strong resistance level for Bitcoin, and if it breaks above there, then we might be looking at stronger moves, and then at that point actually moving our way up and away from these testing these supports again. It's still a 50-50 no trade zone for me, because so long as we're in this, which is right in the middle of where we kind of could go, it's, your guess is pretty much as good as mine. I know there's a lot of analysts saying that we're going up and a lot of analysts say we're going down. I'm quite happy to say that I actually don't really know, as we are right in the middle, and for the last couple of days been stuck pretty much in the middle. Moving averages are sloping down, but they're slowing down ever so slightly. But if we move to the 4 hourly, just to get a bit more idea of where it's going in the short term, it looks as though we've got, look, this is actually pretty interesting. If we see the 200 EMA actually started to slope down for the very first time, and as proving to become a resistance level, and we are above these moving averages here, which is giving us support. So you can see exactly what I mean when we say we are exactly perfectly in the middle of a trading zone. Breaking above this area that we're at now would cause momentum to the upside, and then we've got those resistances at 11,000, 11,200 to break. If we fall beneath this moving average here, which will be around 10,000, then we do have these supports here at 9,800 to around 9,700. So really small range of support there. If that were to break, though, we come right back down here to 9,200 to 9,000, and that did and has proven to be a very, very strong support level for us. But if that were to break, then we do have this final one down here at 8,500. So, like I say, it's a bit of a no trader. So much going on in this price zone right now. It's a real battle. So I personally wouldn't want to get involved, and if it's something that you want to do, then it feels like unless you've got access to a lot more tools and indicators than I do, then I would say it's a bit risky. If my life is on the line, to say where is it going to go, I would probably say it's likely to go a little further up but come back down over time. I think we've got more chance of getting back down to the 10,000 area and below than we do of getting back up to here. I think we'll revisit this area before we revisit this area up here. That's just my expectation. This area, our most recent high of 14, will be visited after we revisit, I'd say probably 9,200 again. That's just, if my life depended on it, which hopefully it doesn't. Right, so we'll look at some of the others. So we'll go to Matic. So we're on Matic on the 4 hourly chart, just trending sideways, wants to just go sideways. Moving averages are going sideways. The momentum is slowly to the down, even though we've found slightly higher highs, it's generally to the down. This is the Bitcoin pairing. So really it's just a sideways move. Now we look on the daily. Let's have a look at what the daily says. Again, the daily just wants to move up. Sideways, but actually just generally sideways. Things are trending perfectly sideways for it now. It could go either way. I think it's probably got more. It's more likely to make incremental steps up than it will to the down. and that's based on this very small movement on the MACD and the fact that we've got higher highs forming now on the RSI, but the volume is very low, so any moves I wouldn't really expect them to be large moves, to be honest with you. And we'll have a look on Tether. So Tether's pretty much it's not looking great, to be honest with you. Still finding our way down, but we have made a low point here at we'll call it 1.2 cents. 4 hourly looks like it wants to move up ever so slightly. RSI kind of isn't really much of an indicator there, to be honest with you, and actually the daily has made a lower low, so we could actually find our way back down to 1.2 cent again. BTC token made some decent moves overnight, but in the grand scheme of things it's fallen quite heavily, so it's got a fair bit to recover before it gets to its previous trading range between 0.00125 and 0.00123. That was a steady range for it, but yeah, it did break beneath that, and so now it's got to find its way above these areas here. These previous low supports are gonna prove to be probably strong resistances now. They are 0.00115 and 0.00125. The indicator suggests a bit more momentum to the up actually on this guy. We'll see what the daily suggests. Daily suggests that yeah, we probably are going to be looking for a bounce actually on this one. Probably going to see a pullback. Let's just check the hourly actually. Probably going to see a pullback on the short term, I imagine. Yeah, we're heading for a pullback on the short term, but yeah, maybe there are going to be some more moves to the up. We'll have to wait and see how this pullback takes place, how far it's going to bring us down. If we make a higher low, then that would be a good sign. But at the moment, we've just got to wait for this one to play. It did do a decent bounce and is continuing to bounce actually. So we'll just have to wait. Like I say, we've got to wait for the pullback on this move to see where that takes us and see where the rest of the market goes. If we make higher low, then yeah, we could be in business. This could be one to pick up again. Satoshi range is just kind of trading in that sideways range really. If you watch my videos, I'm always going on about just low Satoshis. Everything's difficult to it'll take a lot for it to go up one, it takes a lot for it to go down one, so really we are going to be trading between anywhere as low as 8 and probably as much as 12 would probably be the highest I'd expect it to go. ERD then. So ERD again, it's just like Matic in a way, and slightly I don't know whether it's better or worse, to be honest with you. It looks like it wants to have a bounce actually. We're on the 4 hourly. Yeah, we could be in for a bounce almost immediately, and USD would suggest, yeah, on the tether pairing looking for a bounce pretty much now as well. So yeah, this one could be okay. This one could be alright. Daily chart really isn't going to show us much at all, to be honest with you, because it's such a new coin. I mean, there's next to nothing to go by. So because of that, it's a difficult one to really even gauge where it's going. Low volume, but it does look like it wants to make a few steps up, but those steps might not be significant, and the rest of the market could quite easily pull it back down again. Litecoin. So Litecoin has been making big moves in general recently, so we came back down to this low level here of actually 71. You'd be quite lucky to have picked it up around there. I picked mine up at around 78, and I'm holding it. And the only reason I'm doing that is the only coin that I've got that I'm holding just for the midterm is because there is a halving event taking place, and I think that's what's given it its relative strength. It seems to be the leader when it comes to these rallies, and that is probably the main reason for it. People know that that's happening, and I think that's what gave it this huge boost all the way back down here. I think all the way back down here, people are picking it up at 23, and it began its rally in April. Huge moves from it, actually easily beating Bitcoin on its moves. It's probably because for the last year that halving event has already been priced in. So when the halving event takes place, which will be in about a month from now, less than that, about 4 weeks or less, We will probably see a big spike. I would expect it to pretty much easily get back to its previous high of around 146 and maybe a little higher before pullbacks take place again. And then at that point, I would imagine that Litecoin then stops being the leader, and the leader will become another altcoin in its moves. It'll stop leading the charge. We might be looking at something like Bitcoin Cash or Ethereum, or who knows, maybe even XRP. We just don't know, but I think that'll be it for it. So about 3 or 4 months away from now, we'll stop seeing these big charges led by Litecoin, and another coin will take its place as the front runner of these moves. It's still faring up quite well to Bitcoin, ever so slightly though. It did fall, and it has been falling from grace recently, but generally speaking, it was doing extremely well. You can see how this has played out. I mean, the movements had that halving event priced in, definitely, and it's kind of petering out at the moment, ready for one big push, and then that'll probably be it for Litecoin. Celr, so yeah, I did look at Celr. I don't think many people are interested, but I know a couple of people might be, so I'll keep looking at it. So Celr is one that I was generally quite interested with. It did show relative strength before, so we're looking at it now with a Bitcoin pairing, and it's looking okay. It's looking like Matic, and actually a little bit better, but pretty much exactly the same. 4 hourly suggests there's more movement to the up. We're making higher highs on the RSI, and the MACD wants to go up only a little bit, so we're probably going to see a little bit. The trading range we're in now is actually quite small, so we could be looking for a big move either up or down, but these coins now are very susceptible to movements in the market. So if altcoins move, I expect the strong coins to move first. That'll be all the things like Ethereum, EOS, Litecoin, all those guys will make much bigger moves than these guys will. And then I wouldn't say it's a certainty, but once those guys have made their moves, then money will trickle into these guys. Increasing the volume, it wouldn't take much. The volume is so small on these guys that it wouldn't take a great deal to push these guys up significantly. So we might be looking at 15-20% or so moves in a day, but not yet. Once I'm not even going to call it an alt season, but the dominance is retreating now from Bitcoin, giving these guys their opportunity to bottom out, and once they bottom, then they can start to grow again, and I think that's what we're going to start to see now. But again, the strong coins move first, and these second-rate coins will move afterwards. And finally, we'll just look at it on the Tether values. So Tether's looking okay. Again, pretty much the same as Matic. The two kind of work in conjunction. In fact, they're actually partners, aren't they now? So the tokens are trending almost exactly the same, really. We are above all moving averages, and those moving averages are moving up on the 4 hourly chart. So it would suggest that if we are to have pullbacks, we would bounce around these areas. So probably around a cent, and we would find a bounce from. And on the daily, it's not quite the same story, so it shows that there is more a bigger battle to be had on the daily chart. Indicators suggest that there is probably more movement to the up, but let's not get too excited, because we're still making lower lows on the RSI on the daily, so we're probably going to be stuck at these levels for a little longer, and we've got to wait for the market to recover, the altcoin market that would be, and for Bitcoin to actually make its move. At the moment, everything's hanging in limbo with Bitcoin. The dominance is retreating, so we will see a pump with the altcoins probably over the next week or so, but it won't be significant. I'd be very surprised if many of these get back up to their all-time highs, and that would be including all the top 10 altcoins too. I'd be very surprised if any of them, other than Litecoin perhaps, get back up to their all-time highs. Because the dominance has been drained by Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin's fallen from grace. It looks like the market might be in for a bit of a slump until further notice. Anyway, got a busy day planned, so I've got to leave it there, but thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for donating, and I hope you all have a nice weekend. I'll catch you maybe later on tonight, if not definitely tomorrow. Thanks again, take it easy, goodbye.